Each country is a different experience, and we are learning new things every time we go somewhere. Our trip to Israel was not different. Let us show you 10 things that surprise us in this Middle Eastern country. Israel has been built on immigration from all over the world, and local cuisine is heavily impacted by it. There are a lot of dishes that should be tried, and these are just a few we managed. Falafels, originating from Arabic culture, sold on every corner that became our base lunch food. It is a small deep-fried ball made from chickpeas or broad beans. Shakshuka is made from eggs poached in a sauce of tomatoes, olive oil, peppers, onion and garlic with a bunch of spices. We tried to find sausage, but we only found something similar with fried eggplants and chicken schnitzel as the main ingredients. Drew's minority pancakes filled with spices and a form of white cheese. Malawa, not Israeli but Yemeni, but we tried it in Tel Aviv. It is a rolled pancake with tahini, mashed tomato, spices and hard-boiled eggs. Very tasty. And the maker knew how to advertise himself. Local sweets that are made of sugar, nuts, juices and sesame seed candy are also popular, and as well dozens of types of halva, all too sweet for us. One thing worth mentioning is that everything needs to be kosher, which makes food products more expensive. Falafel in pita will cost around 6 euro and shawarma in the same bun 10 euros. And pita is pretty small, so to fill your stomach you are going to pay around 17 euros, and this is not in a restaurant but in a bar, sometimes even without a place to sit. Security checks are pretty often on all entrances to the train station and important historical sites like Wailing Wall or Temple Mount in Jerusalem, but also on entrances to shopping malls. Barbed wire is visible so often that you consider it as their typical building material. And one thing that we didn't feel very safe: military personnel with long guns either securing some spot, commuting somewhere in the public transport, or even going on a date. Yes, we saw a soldier with a gun on a Saturday walk with his girlfriend. At the airport, when we wanted to leave, we had to queue in a special line for an additional security check, where our passports were inspected. And we were asked some very funny questions, like what's the meaning of my name? And last but not least, we found this nice card in our luggage when we got home, saying that our suitcase was opened at the airport and searched under surveillance of cameras. Really, somewhere in Israel is now recording of our dirty underwear searched by security officers. Weekend is moved backwards by one day, so plenty of people will have free time already on Friday, and will start to party from morning. We have seen plenty of locals drinking beer or even vodka at 12 o'clock. We're surprised, but later we realized that they are trying to have a party before sunset, as most places will be closed from dusk till sunset on Saturday. Even public transport will not work and the streets will be deserted. Only places managed by non-Jews will be open, so just few of them. Even our first contact with Sabbath was problematic. Our accommodation in the desert was supposed to be open till 10 on Friday, but the National Park entrance that was on our road was closed after 4. Happily for us, there were some people who knew the code to gate, as otherwise we would be sleeping in a car in the desert. If you have in your mind a typical Jew, you will see plenty of them in Jerusalem, especially on Jewish quarter in the Old Town, but as well all over the city, although they are not so visible in other cities.
Prices, or rather lack of them. Many shops will have no price on the stocks or just on a few items, so either you will run with the questions multiple times or you will be just surprised at the checkout.
And even if there are some stickers, it is not necessarily the price. Also, if you buy fuel with a non-Israeli card, they will block 700 shekels, nearly 200 euros on it every time you refuel. Driving culture is much different from the one that we are used to living in Germany. Horn is being used all the time. If you are not fast enough, you are trying to change lanes, or you dare to be pedestrian. It felt like being in an American movie from some random Arabic country.
Palestine, country in a country. In reality, land mostly occupied by the Israeli army and some scraps surrounded by the huge walls where Palestinians are allowed to function. We visited only Bethlehem, but it's a quite good presentation of this situation. Once there was a main street called Hebron Road that connected directly both cities. But now there is a 9-meter tall concrete wall with plenty of artwork and posters related to Israeli crimes. But before condemning one side, check Wikipedia entries. None of the site is without sin. Wall surrounds everything, so now either you need to go around or through the huge security checkpoints. It's still the same road, but now it's officially in 2 different countries. When we were crossing it in the evening, it was extremely crowded. People were going back from work in Jerusalem. Desert. Plenty, if not most of Israel, is covered with not livable sand. So calling it a promised land sounds like a strange punishment rather than a prize. When we left Mitzpe Ramon, we started more than 100-kilometer drive through the desert without any settlement, but with plenty of signs to be aware of camels and in other places to watch out for tanks. There were also a lot of traffic signs saying not to leave the road as army is using the desert as a shooting range. But besides that, there is plenty to see, for example Timna Park or Red Canyon.
Let's see, in reality a huge salt lake and lowest point on land in the world. We were there on 2nd of January and the air temperature was around 20 degrees Celsius. Not the best to swim, but anyway, we heard plenty of stuff about it, so we had to try. And it was very crazy feeling. From first steps, when I felt like somebody was pushing my calves up, to realizing that it would be impossible to drown in it. You really feel like the mattress with the air. But don't try to taste the water. My expectation was it will be very salty, but it felt like drinking acid. Tel Aviv. From one side, plenty of old buildings falling apart, and next to them modern ones, an interesting old town in Jaffa, and the beach side with a variety of restaurants, bars and other activities. And that's all. Tell us in the comments what do you think about them, do they also surprise you, and see you in the next video.